What's up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. Something about the underdog. Today, we have the Texas Titan on the podcast. But before we get into this interview, you know I have to give this gentleman a proper Underdog Talk introduction. Hailing from Tyler, Texas, a professional bodybuilder with accolades of first place at the 2011 and 2011 Arnold Classic, and second at the 2009 Mr. Olympia. The head honcho, owner, and mind behind the best tasting beef jerky out there, Wicked Cuts Jerky, the Texas Titan, the man, the myth, and the monster, Mr. Branch Warren. What is up, Branch? How are you and the family?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey,
And
thank you for coming, man.
just doing what I do. So working and still trying to stay in shape and look like a bodybuilder.
I think you look like a bodybuilder. I mean, I wouldn't know that you did body. No, I'm playing. You look absolutely ginormous. And I saw the picture you just posted a few days ago. And I mean, those legs are bigger than my body still. So clearly you're doing something right in this, after retirement. But before we start this interview, I have to show some love for Wicked Cuts because that old-fashioned maple jerky, I mean, it made me feel some type of way that no woman has ever made me feel. So good stuff. That is the real deal. I love that stuff.
That old fashioned maple bacon jerky is like I say, it's so good it'll make you slap your mama.
Yeah, I better tell my mom to get in the next room when I eat some of that then, honestly. But Branch, I want to start from the beginning. You decided to start bodybuilding early in your life when you were still in high school, and you compete in the 1992 AAU Teenage Mr. America. So first, what made you fall in love with bodybuilding and fitness at such a young age? Because I can just imagine a high school Branch Warren being a scary motherfucker. So what made you fall in love with bodybuilding and fitness at such a young age?
Well, I was born in Tyler, Texas, but then I grew up in Seymour, Texas, which is out west. It's about 2.5 hours west of Fort Worth. So I grew up on a ranch, and we were 8 miles away was our closest neighbor. So I was like way out in the country, and small town. We barely had enough guys to have a football team out there, and the two best looking girls in my school were my cousins. So it was a pretty small school, man. And so when I was in high school, we moved to the Fort Worth area, and I know I need to get bigger to make the team, because back then they didn't give out participation awards. You had to make the team or you got cut. And so we didn't have any money, and I couldn't afford a gym membership. So I met a kid in the neighborhood. He'd open up the back door. I'd slip into the gym and we'd work out. Well, during the course of doing this, met a bodybuilder. I'd never seen a bodybuilder before. And this guy was, he was almost 6 foot tall, probably 280, 290 pounds, legit bodybuilder, national level guy. And he came up to me one day and said, "Hey," he goes, "I see you in here every day." He goes, "Guys, really don't know what you're doing." He goes, you work hard, but you don't know what you're doing." And he said, "Come in tomorrow and I'll show you how to train." And so I came in. He trained me, put me through legs, and I thought I was working out hard. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. This guy murdered me, and I think I threw up 3 times. Came back the next day, we did back, then we did chest. Did this went on for 2 weeks, and got my butt kicked every day. And then after that, he would just write my programs up, and we do them. And I don't know, I gained like 25, 30 pounds that summer, just training. He didn't really. I wasn't really say I was eating healthy. I was just eating more. You're a teenage boy, you can put away some food, and even if it's not the most healthiest food, you use. I always had.
Yeah.
So I made the team, started, and came back the next year, and this guy took me to a bodybuilding show because he asked me. He goes, "You ever think about competing?" I'm looking at him going, "Are you crazy?" Because this guy's huge, and he goes, "No, they got a junior division." And so I went and checked it out, and he goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he goes, "Well, this show at the end of the summer. I just got out of school for the summer, and he goes, we can train all summer, do the show, and you'll be in great shape. Go play ball." And like, all right, that works. So he said, "I'm gonna take you to a real gym." I'm like, "Where are we at right now?" He goes, "Man, we're at a health club." So Monday morning, he picked me up, and we drove across town and rolled up for this gym. Warehouse doors, hot, gravel parking lot, and music so loud you could hear it in the parking lot. He introduced me to the owner. The owner's name was Brian, and he said, "Hey, this kid I was telling you about, he wants to compete." And I said, "Hey, man, I want to do the show. I can't afford a membership, but I'll take the trash out, clean the place up for you, whatever, just so I can trade out for a membership. And he said, let me look at you. So I took my shirt off, hit a few poses. And he said, I'll tell you what, kid. He says, you train here, get ready for your show, represent the gym, and you win, you don't got to buy a membership. He said, if you lose, you're going to work it off. Well, that was 31 years ago. It was Metroflex Gym, and I still haven't bought a membership, and I still train there. So
Damn.
started, and this guy, Mark, was Ronnie Coleman's workout partner. So for my first show there, I trained with Mark and Ronnie, and Brian trained us, and so that's how it all started. So I won that first show, and then went to win another show, and then I went to the teenage Mr. America, 1992, I believe. Won that, and then a few months later, I went to the Teenage Nationals, and I won that also. And then that's at that point, I just graduated high school when I won the Teenage Nationals that summer, and at that point, I was like, I remember I got home from the show and I was driving to Metroflex, and at the time, I was the first person in this area to ever win a national level competition. Ronnie was hadn't turned pro yet, but he was about to, and so I got back to the gym, and on the way to the gym, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a pro bodybuilder. And I mapped out my entire career on that drive from my house to the gym. I was like, I'm going to do this. And, I'm going to go to school, free. And then I'm going to compete in this show, turn pro, work my way up all the way to Olympia. And I came up with a plan. I had short-term, long-term, and goals, and just stuck to it.
And I mean, stuck to it you did, as fast forward 9 years later, you entered the pro circuit, and your first pro event is the legendary Night of Champions, which I've talked to so many bodybuilders who competed in that as their first show. Now, I want to look at the Arnold Classics specifically in your career, as you won back-to-back in both 2000 and 2012, as mentioned, which is no small feat. Now, many people or teams win 1 year and they can't win the year after that.
Yeah.
So what went into winning again? What was the training like going into that 2012 Arnold Classic?
The hardest prep I ever had in my life was for the 2012 Arnold Classic. I got second at the Olympia. I went to the previous year's Arnold. I was the reigning champion, for the Arnold Classic. I was the top, two guys in the world at the time. And, I tore my quad 30 days before the 2011 Mr. Olympia, and tore completely off the bone. And, in our sport, that's usually a game changer or a game ender. And, the surgeon told me, he goes, it'd be a year before I could even think about getting ready for a competition. And I had tore it on a Saturday, had it reattached on Monday morning. And, when the forums, the internet, all that was, social media was, starting to take off, and everybody's writing my obituary and telling me I'm done competing. And I was sitting there on the couch, my legs in a cast, and I'm reading this crap, and I just started getting madder. And I told myself, I was like, nobody or no circumstance is going to tell me when I'm done. I'm like, I'll be the one to decide when I retire and how I retire. And I'm like, I'm not done. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to do the Arnold Classic. She goes, in 6 months? I said, yeah. And she said, all right. And then she went to the kitchen. She cooked me a plate of chicken and rice and put it in my lap. She goes, you better keep eating. And so that's when I started preparing for the Arnold Classic one day, I think 2 days post-surgery. And so I couldn't even, if you ever turn your quad completely off, you got to learn how to walk first. Then you got to get full range of motion. And that takes quite a while. And then before you can even train. So I had 6 months, 6.5 months to do this. And, it was the most painful, hardest thing I'd ever done. Plus the added pressure of, being the returning champion. So there's a lot of pressure on you. And I knew if I didn't, I had to win. I'd never been in a situation where I always trained to win. I always wanted to win. That was my goal. But this was like a do or die situation. I knew the whole world was going to be looking at my quad, looking at me, see how I look. And I was going to have extra scrutiny on me because number one, you're the champ. Number two, you got a supposedly career-ending injury. And so I told my wife, I said, I have to win. I said, there's no second place in this one. I said, there's this, do or die. And so I, by the grace of God and a lot of hard work, I was able to pull off a victory.
And I mean, pull off a victory you did and shock the world you did, because not many people would be able to come back from something like that. And you did, which is, I mean, I don't know how. I think God had a plan for you and everything was working out for you for that. So that's just...
When you're really motivated, and I've worked my entire life to get to that point, and I wasn't ready for it to be over. And I told myself then, I was like, when I'm done, I'll be the one to decide that. And so I just wasn't gonna let it happen. If you're super motivated, you'd be amazed what you can do. So it's just physically it was super painful, but even that, I think you find out a lot about yourself. And I think the biggest takeaway from that whole experience for me was sometimes in life things happen and you think it's the worst possible thing that can happen to you, but it turns out to be a blessing. And looking back on it, it was one of the biggest blessings of my life because it made me reach deep down inside myself, and you find out what you're made of. And when you go through something like that and you overcome it, then you come out way stronger on the other side because of it.
Wow. I mean, that just motivated me to. I almost gave up on my bodybuilding. I had my first show on July 17th, but Branch, I am not giving up now just because you went through something that, wow. Now, I want to rewind a little to look at the Mr. Olympia, which you competed in, and you were a household name with your best performance in 2009, where you got second to Jay Cutler. Would you mind sharing how or if training is different between the Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic?
How the training?
How the training is different?
I don't think there's any difference. I know there's not. I train the same year round. I train the same for every show I ever got ready for. The Olympia is the Olympia. So I think you even probably subconsciously, you probably train even harder for it. Because it is the Olympia. It's the best guys on the planet. And my goal was never get beat because somebody outworked me. If I lost, it was for some other reason, not because somebody outworked me. And I learned that focus on the things I could control. I could control my training, my diet, my tanning, my posing, all these kind of things I could control. And I didn't focus at all on things I couldn't control, like who was in the show. A lot of these shows I competed in, I didn't even know everybody was in the show until I got there. I do interviews, pre-show, and I didn't even know who I was competing against most of the time. Some of the top guys, obviously, you knew were going to be there, but because I couldn't control who was there, how they looked, or anything, so I didn't waste any time on that. I never looked at them to see what they post these, progress pics and all that crap. Doesn't matter. You can look great 2 weeks out, show up at the show and look like shit, and vice versa. So you see guys that you see them 2 weeks out and like, no way they're going to make the show, and they show up looking incredible. So you don't even think about that. I just focused on me to be the best I could be, and I played up to my strengths. I think my first strength was I could get very hard. I could, I had the ability to be the hardest, most conditioned person in the show, and I could pack on a ton of muscle. So those are the things that were my strong points. So I focus on that, and then attention to detail, like your tanning, your posing, things like that, to be the best you can be. And I knew if I could come in 100%, I stand a good chance of beating anybody in the world if I was 100%. So.
And I mean, that you did with a legendary career. I mean, I am talking to Branch Warren, one of the best to do it. Now, I want to end this interview with the best tasting jerky in the world. Now, Branch, I have to ask, how did you get an idea to create a beef jerky chain or company? And then what was the process that went into that?
So about 5 years ago, I was on a flight, and the owner and founder of BSN, Scott James, was on the flight with me, and he'd sold BSN a few years earlier, and we got to talking, and he said he always wanted to do something with me business wise, and so we got back to Dallas, and we went to lunch and talked, and he said he pitched the idea to me doing a beef jerky company, and I said beef jerky, and caught me off guard, and he goes, yeah, think about it. He says, with sports supplements you're getting, it's like this niche deal. You're just getting a small slice of the population that's you're marketing to. He goes, beef jerky, everybody likes it, right? It's everywhere. And we talked about it, and I said, all right, let's do it. And I said, what do you know about beef jerky? And he goes, not much. He goes, how about you? I go, not a damn thing. I go, but let's learn. And so that was a new challenge. So we started, we got I think we launched with 7 flavors initially. Now we have 16 flavors of jerky. We have 6 flavors of beef sticks. Plus we have bacon jerky, turkey jerky, as well as chicken jerky and beef jerky. So we have chicken sticks and beef sticks. And of course we have seasonings. So it's we've grown and expanded more than double what we started off with. And I think we're in, I think last time I checked, about 8,500 locations now across the country. So it's doing very well. And we're in some major chains, like Gold's Gym, 24 Hour Fitness, Albertsons grocery stores, Giant Eagles up on the East Coast, and to name a few. And so we're doing very well as about 2,000 brick and mortar shops, such as nutrition stores and things like that. So independent gas stations. So It's been an experience. It's been a super big challenge to learn something new. We both came from the fitness industry, so where everybody knew us, and you know, to step into a new world where we had to learn, form new relationships, learn new business, but it's been a challenge, but it's going very well for us. So.
And going well it is, because this beef jerky is just quality. The taste is there, and I mean, I even have some at my GNC location. So definitely go check that out if you want some good protein. Get those macros in. Now, Branch, I know you are a very busy guy, but are you down for some rapid fire questions before I get you out of here?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah. Favorite flavor of Wicked Cuts jerky?
Maple bacon.
Yeah, same. All right, smart mind, think alike. I love it. Favorite flavor of Hooligan pre-workout?
I don't know, man. I like them all. I
Ooh,
don't.
all right, that's a good answer. Leave it
they're
at that.
I have all flavors, and I kind of bounce from what happens. I start with one, and when it's empty, I go to the next one.
Hell
So
yeah. That Mai Tai flavor. Ooh, that was
I tell
something
you,
else.
that is good.
Yes. Favorite pose of all time?
Favorite pose of all time? Side chest.
Damn right. You look damn good doing it. All right. Last two questions are big. Talk like Rocky for the rest of your life, or have to box Rocky Balboa in his prime?
Probably box Rocky.
Let's go. Yeah, I think that'd be a good. I would like to see that actually. That would be.
It probably wouldn't last very long, but it'd be easier than trying to talk like him.
Yo, Adrian, I did it. Yeah, I'm never doing that again. But final question, Branch. This is a big one. Pull-ups or chin-ups?
Pull-ups.
Let's go. That is the right answer. Branch Warren is that guy. Nailed every single answer. Now, Branch, it's been an honor and privilege. Before we go, is there anything that you want to plug?
I just want to say, go to Wicked Cuts. Go to wickedcuts.com, and got a big Father's Day sale going on right now. So we've got 20% off sticks, 15% off jerky, and 40% off of seasoning. So don't want to miss that. And also, I've been a Better Bodies athlete for 14 years now. I'm very much involved with the day-to-day operations of the company. So go to Gasp and official Gasp and betterbodies.com, and we've got a big sale coming up. Also, we just had our spring sale, so got a lot of amazing things going on. And if you're an athlete, aspiring bodybuilder, fitness athlete, figure, bikini, whatever the case may be, I call it all bodybuilding because it's all bodybuilding. And reach out to us, and we're looking for some. We're looking to bring in a lot of new athletes, so reach out to us and talk to you and bring you on board.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
Give a big
yeah.
Rob and Carolina up at Apollo Gym and Apollo Nutrition up on the East Coast.
Sheesh. And I mean, Branch, thank you. It's been an honor and privilege. Don't forget to check out Branch's content, Branch's highlights, because I mean, the way you pose, Branch, is second to none. As you guys can see, we have some big guests coming on the Underdog Talk. But until next time, guys, Underdog out.